Welcome to this week's question. How do you scale Agile Lean Spotify? Insert your favorite framework across the organization. And we're asking this question because we're starting to see some of these implementations fail. Okay, so how do you do it? We recommend 3 steps. The first one is we need to fix our operating structure. The second one is once we do that, we need to adapt our management processes. And the third one is because this results in fast flow, we recommend you go with the flow. All right, let's get started. Again, starting with our alignment diagram from Signal Road. We add in our traditional organizational structure with its top-down budgets and KPIs we discussed last week, leading to the problems of cross-department dependencies to internal fights to slow decision-making. So what do? Let's do a change program. Let's implement Agile Lean, etc. Let's call it the future of work, new ways of working. We end up with squads, tribes, chapters, guilds. But can you see the glaring flaw? We have upper management in vertical silos sitting on top of our cross-functional teams in horizontal teams. Something has to give. There is a mismatch between the vertical upper silos and the functional teams, but we never question this disconnect. And maybe we never question it because we don't know what to do about it and no one talks or writes about it. So what do? Well, what we need to do is restructure our operation, and here's how we do it. The first thing is we change our approach. We move from by function to by segment. We move from being dependent to being self-sufficient, from being managed to being self-managed, from a team of teams to a recursive team, from being short-term thinking to thinking over multiple timeframes. To do this, we're going to use organization frameworks as opposed to process frameworks. Here goes. We start with Team Topologies by Matthew Skelton and Manuel Pei. Team Topologies has 4 team types that work together across 3 different interaction modes. Now we can assemble these in different ways to create fast flow anchored by the stream aligned team. The enabling teams assist through a facilitation mode. The specialist teams may assist through collaboration or as a service. Combined, they're managing the cognitive load. They're implementing continuous improvement, and they're also implementing team member development. Development that typically is done by a traditional manager, and that really doesn't work so well. Our team here sits inside a segment. Now, a segment could be by product, it could be by customer territory, it could be by shared service, it could be by cloud platform. We then can grow our organization by adding similar segments. And this all sits now within a group of segments. This now is our recursive team structure as described by Patrick Hooverstadt in his book, The Fractal Organization. Now, the key point around recursive teams is that there is one leader. There's not a matrix of managers reaching into the different functions. We can further scale our organization into a group of segments, into a global group of segments. And as we go up, our leaders of these increasing size segments needs to have a greater level of vertical development, as explained in Bill Torbe's book, Action Inquiry. Now, the shapes that we've used to indicate the leaders have increasing number of sides as they go up. This is a nerdy nod to Edwin Abbott's Flatland. Now, the more sides indicates greater capabilities, indicates being able to lead across longer time frames, because as this goes up, the complexity increases. Finally, we can add Elliott Jacques' stratum layers from his book Requisite Organization, because what Elliott says is Each layer needs to operate over a certain time period, from 3 months to 1 year to 2 years to 5 years and beyond. All right, we've now built out our new operating structure. What this now does is change how we need to manage. So we can now go to the Beyond Budgeting's roundtable and their 6 leadership principles and their 6 management processes. Now what's interesting about this is, and if we take the first leadership principle of purpose, we can all agree with what they say we should be doing. You know, we should engage and inspire people around a bold and noble cause. And we actually say things like that. But what we do is manage to short-term financial targets. So we've got to stop that. We've got to start aligning to the purpose. With our structure, not only are we now aligned to what we're trying to deliver and aligned to our purpose, but we can cascade that down the organisation in nested mission statements. The other thing that we can do is, if you look at leadership principles 5 and 6, they are symbiotic with our new structure, because what they say we should be doing is what we've just built. We should have accountable teams. We should have teams that are aligned to the customer needs. Next are the 6 management processes. Now, a key point that Beyond Budgeting makes is we need to get rid of these top-down annual budgets. They don't work when we're trying to move quickly. We're in fast flow. We need to allocate resources as needed. This is balanced by people being accountable, by transparency. All these management processes that we talk about, but we actually need to implement. All right. We have our new operating structure. We have our leadership principles. We have our management processes. What we can now see is we now need to go with the flow, because you will be surprised at how well this works, at the increase in productivity, the increase in speed that our organisation makes. And this was highlighted by Nicole Forsgren, Jez Humble and Jean Kim in their book Accelerate. They researched thousands of companies over 4 years. And what they found is when companies are operating with our new operating structure, productivity went up. For every additional person, they got 2 times the outcome or more. The other thing that we do with our Go with the Flow is that we build a culture and a working style that creates the perfect platform to now implement our process framework. And that is because we have enabled the common dynamics across Agile, Lean, Spotify, etc. in when we're trying to work in this new way. Finally, we would go as far as to say that if you don't do these things, that any attempt to scale these process frameworks across your organisation will fail. And we're seeing that today. Okay, to summarise, how do you scale Agile, Lean, Spotify, insert your favourite framework across the organisation? Well, step 1, we need to fix the operating structure. Step 2, we now need to match the management processes. And step 3, hang on to your hats, go with the flow. All right. Thanks for listening. I hope that's been useful. We go into a lot more detail of this in our YouTube channel and the bookcast Unlocking Change. We also have there an interview with Patrick Hooverstadt, the author of the Fractal organisation. We'd love to hear your comments in the sections below. If you've got other questions you'd like us to address, we'd love to see them as well. And we hope to see you next week. Thank you.